We're talking underwhelm. I mean undertone. My bad. The new horror movie to drop. A lot to talk about. So the word online was, and I've been on Twitter recently. It was everybody tweeting out Undertone, scariest horror movie. Oh my God, this movie's so scary. Just wait till you see Undertone. You're gonna be terrified. Well, we will be the ones to validate that. This is Minor League Films. Got my guy Scotty here. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. And without further ado, let's jump into it.
What were you thinking? You shouldn't have listened to all of them. It's what she wants.
So, Scotty, we talked about this movie coming up. Saw a lot of trailers for some pretty decent marketing, and I was like, okay, we got a podcast, horror movie basically that they start listening to a podcast and something's gonna go wrong. Now, this is not the first of this genre, as we know. I feel like this is basically a subgenre at this point, where we have horror movies that basically take place inside mediums. So you'll have a tape, or you'll have I don't know. So we have movies like VHS, where things are in VHS tape, Paranormal Activity, which is found footage inside somebody just recording. Also, The Ring, the OG back in the day, where you watch tape, you die in 7 days. So not the first of this type. Definitely a subgenre here, but this brings up podcasting, which has become very popular these days. I mean, we have podcasts, so very prevalent. But so this stars Evie and Justin, who is her co-host, and basically the plot is that Evie is gonna they have a crime, kind of like, it feels like a crime kind of Paranormal Activity, somewhere in that line, which there are podcasts that do crimes, but is there something else added to it that may be paranormal that is not explained? So podcast covers some spooky content that she moves in with her dying mother. When said recordings of a pregnant couple's paranormal encounter, she discovers that the story parallel hers. So Scotty, I'll let you shove into it in a second. Man, I was not looking forward to this. I put my bias at the door, and I told you that. I told you before. I was like, the hype coming out and the word about this movie, I'm like, yeah, they gonna hoax me. I already know.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, I did not expect what I went to go see. And I'll tell you this why. Boy, I got in this movie. I'm about 5 minutes in. Went to go see it with a friend. I leaned over and I was like, this movie looked cheap. That's the first. I have never, like, hand on it, whatever religion you have. I have never said that in a movie. Even movies that I know are cheap, Paranormal Activity, all these, they kind of got famous for being creative and playing with a lower budget movie. And that was the gotta think of it. Paranormal Activity, go back and they watch it. Not a lot happens, but they play with things, they play with atmosphere, and they didn't have a lot to start with. So that's why they made that type of movie. We are now in 2026. I feel like we are past that age, but I get in, I'm like, this movie looked cheap. Like, I could just feel it. Like, it sets it down. So pull out my phone, which I don't recommend in theater if you're sitting by somebody, don't blind them, but pull out my phone. I'm like, Undertone movie budget, $500,000. Yep. Basically, you listening, us, we could have made this movie. So sit in here, and obviously you have Evie, who she's staying in her house. She's with her mother, who's sick. She's taking care of her, and she has her co-host Justin, who stays in London, I do believe. And they basically run a podcast where she can work remote and do this anywhere. So doing it in her mother's house, they get an email. That email address makes no sense. It's just a bunch of scrambled letters, and it says LOL. Listen to these tapes below. Basically, no messages. Listen to these tapes. So they say, hey, we're doing a show. Let's go ahead and listen to these, and we'll listen to them and react live to our audience. Basically, events take place from there as they listen to these tapes and go further and further. They start to hear stuff that creeps them out. It's a little weird. They start to hear voices, sounds. There's connection to a child song, all this. And as they get further and further, obviously things ensue. But just getting in the start before we really dive into that, Scotty, you were looking forward to this. You were going to see it. You were pretty excited for it. Overall thoughts of like getting into this plot and what's going on with this movie.
I mean, I liked it. Obviously, I liked it a lot more than you. The cheap part you said, that's 100% true. They only show, I think, 3 rooms of this house, not even the outside. It's just the 3 rooms of the house. They even have a scene, which I thought was hilarious, which really set the tone for a cheap movie, is when the nurse was in the house.
Boy, I was going to say it. I was going to wait. he going to laugh, but they're so cheap.
They don't show the nurse in the house. They just have someone
voice over
talking. And so they wouldn't pay anybody for this movie. And just the fact, like again, you just have voices and whatnot. Now, my favorite part of this movie is that the main character is not likable at all. Like, she reminds me of me when it comes to anyone in my whole life that's ever told me they saw a ghost or a supernatural. I was like, nah. They're like, well, right over there. Nah, we got picture evidence. I'm like, nah, it was just the wind. And then her co-host is like optimistic about everything. He's like, did you hear that? He's a deep thinker. He's really thinking deeply and listening closely to all these recordings, and he's finding out all the clues and whatnot. So that was my favorite part of the movie, is that she's so unlikable. It made this slow burn a lot less unbearable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. She's a skeptic, basically, to the way where her co-host, whose name is Justin, we don't like guys, this movie's so cheap. You got people in the room and we don't even see them, nor do we see anyone she talked. It's basically just her mother, which you do see, and voiceovers. So yeah, her co-host was Justin, who's played by Adam DeMarco. Basically, when things kind of go down and they're exploring these podcasts and kind of the paranormal side, he's the one he's kind of excited about it. He's like, yeah, like I heard this is creepy. This tape. Wait, did you hear that? Like, he's like, I will cut this movie some slack. I feel like he hears everything. He is the ultimate investigator, where he catches it all. And of course, she's the skeptic. I don't really want to say she's unlikable, because she doesn't give any blame. She doesn't interact with really any other characters. And obviously, I think their kind of roles is she plays the skeptic in the podcast, and that's kind of what gives her back and forth. So, but yeah, she's the one's like, nothing's happening. Unfortunately for her and the people in this movie, like, the stuff that starts to happen on tape sort of parallels. Now, my beef starts here. We have this podcast going on, right? Well, it doesn't start there. It started with how cheap the movie was. But we have this podcast going on, and basically everything starts to align with stuff that's happening around the house. Like, podcast starts to get creepy. Stuff starts to happen with her mom that is like, okay, it's just her and her mom in this house. She has no help. She doesn't have nurses come over, like, which probably should, but, skip over that. Doesn't have nurses come over, no kind of help. Family just doesn't answer. Then when things start to happen, and this is the paranormal activity kind of formula, things start to happen and characters have no reaction. She knows her mom is bedridden, to the point where her mom can't even talk. Yeah. Like, anytime she talks is gibberish. Like, can't even understand her. She hears people walking around the house. She hears voices. Lights start turning on by themselves. To the point where lights start turning on by themselves. She knows it wasn't her mom. She's sitting right there like, oh my God, that wasn't her. But this movie's so cheap, we don't even get the priest. I was like, oh, they gonna pull the priest. Like, all the tropes of these movies I was expecting to happen, which they do. This movie's so cheap, they can't afford the tropes. Like, they can't afford.
You know what the worst scene was? There's a scene where she's on the bed with her mother, and she just talking to her. She's like, hey, will you please talk? Will you please drink? Her get a drink. It's pitch black in the whole house, okay? The light to the bathroom right next to her turns on. She gets up to say, oh, I wonder what that is, and just closes the door and goes to bed. I'm like, what in the... That was a terrible, terrible scene. That was awful. It didn't make any sense. So I'm thinking next day, okay, she's left to get some help. No, she just went to bed and woke up.
Which brings me to why I hate this movie number 2. Scotty, we've seen this a lot, and this is, I don't know if I've ever seen this, maybe to this degree. I'm sure it's out there. But you want to talk about a movie where people don't use a light? Jesus Christ. This is the darkest. Not only does it cheap, you don't have many scenes. This is the darkest movie you will ever see. This girl won't turn 2 lights. Like, either this podcast is failing, they can't afford electricity. Like, maybe that's it. Maybe they should have led with that. We're broke. We're in debt. My mom got sick, can't pay the bills. So we ain't getting no help because we can't afford it. And the movie ain't that smart. We ain't getting no help because we can't afford it. We ain't using no lights because we can't afford it. And my podcast is the only thing that's paying the bills to keep anything going. Maybe they should have led with that, because this girl and the thing is, she starts to get creeped out. She's like, there's weird stuff going on here. I thought I saw something move. Won't turn on a light to save her life. Like, every light in this house should be on.
Well, the lights are on for the most part. Like the main lights are on. I don't know why they made the areas look so dark because you could see in the back where some lights are on. I don't know. That was kind of weird to me too. But the lights were on, just some of them were really dim.
Dark.
Because I was
You made
looking
me.
for that when I was listening because I really focused on what I was hearing throughout the movie. But yeah, they only had those like three areas of the house they had to focus on. I guess they wanted that main area to be dark all the time.
Yeah.
And then she had no shades in the windows either. That's one of my things I hate the most in horror movies is people don't have shades in the windows. I hate that. You
I
get
guess that
haunted.
maybe.
You want people to look at you from the outside.
Yeah, it's bro. I'm so far past. It was just how dark this movie is. The fact she make her mom sleep in pitch black. Like, yo, you going to sleep because ain't
Yeah.
a light on around. So as they dive further, as we know, you got to do some investigating here. And obviously, they talk about this demon. I don't know, name Hazu.
Abisu.
What it don't matter. And I hope this demon ain't listening to this podcast because he gonna be upset. We gonna be on him because man, they have this demon that's a Midwest and it basically has some tie-ins. Basically, and the thing with this couple is it's a woman who basically was a murderer and killed some babies in the past as the stories go, and then got caught, died. Of course, only evil people get superpowers, so was able to get the power to become a demon, and it is now out here. Okay, we got that part. As we die, funny enough, they're listed as couple, and I feel like they just turned on Paranormal Activity. It feels like they're listening to that movie.
I did enjoy it though. I enjoyed how it went from we listened to they listened to like 2 a night. So I enjoyed that part. 5 nights I enjoyed listening to it. I thought I enjoyed the acting in those scenes of the two couple and Justin. She would just say the same thing until you got to tape number 9. It was like, oh, that was just the wind. You didn't hear that? No, they didn't say anything. So it was kind of just the other 3 actors doing all the work, and I enjoyed it. I think the guy that plays Justin, I hope he does some voice acting because he deserves to be something to voice acting right now.
Yeah, I'll say I don't feel like the acting is necessarily bad at any mark. And that's one of the marks of these. Like you'll get some terrible acting because it's so cheap. But I feel like Evie's played by Nina Kiri. You'll recognize her from The Handmaid's Tale if you've seen that. Yeah, I thought the actors were fine. I mean, the mom doesn't do much. She's bedridden, but I feel like she's fine. And like you said, Justin, he brings kind of the entertainment in the movie because he's the one who's excited. He's the one who's driving this forward. Like, are you ready for the tape? But also, too, one thing I'll give credit. Like, there ain't nobody in this movie, but he is a caring friend. He's asking like, "Hey, how are you doing? I know you're going on with stuff. Like, we don't have to necessarily do this podcast. If you need time or you need help, or even so, I can come there and help you if you actually need help. Of course, actually, we can't afford that, so he can't do that. But he is a good character. I do like his character. Also, we have some subplots in this movie that just go by the wayside. So Evie, played by Nina, she finds out that she's pregnant. She has this guy Darren that she's been seeing. We never see him on screen. We get a couple of voiceovers from him via phone, but she's pregnant. Then she goes out to see him one night. We don't see that. We just see her leave and come back. But even something like that would have helped the movie like ground it a little bit. But
I think seeing anyone else and seeing her outside of the house, I think that would have, like, for at least 15, 20 minutes of this movie altogether, that would have been great. I think it would have made the movie a little bit better instead of just seeing her open the door and then come back the next scene.
Yeah, because you're not even to a point where it's like the thing this movie wants to do, and this thing all these movies have done. You talk about VHS, Paranormal Activity, whatever. You want to set atmosphere, and you want to give your audience a break from that atmosphere to make them, when you go back, you're like, oh shit, like stuff's about to go down. We're back in this house now. We're stuck. We're starting the podcast again. You spend so much time in this house and in this same spot where you don't get to leave as an audience. You get comfortable with it.
Yeah, so it's always scary. Even though the sound, again, the sound always had me hooked anyway, because you heard everything, even the drops from the sink. not being turned away off. So that kept me engaged. But yeah, it's like you said, you don't get a chance to even think something bad is about to happen because it's always going to happen because you're always in the house. You never leave the house, really.
Yeah, and here's another point. You think something bad's going to happen. Unfortunately, this movie can't afford for bad things to happen. Man, this has to be, and I don't know if you can say this on video. YouTube might hate me, but the biggest cock tease of horror I may have ever seen in a horror movie. When I say, and not even to dive into spoiler territory, I mean, we'll do that in a little bit, but when I say this movie is completely set up, oh, it's completely set up without ever paying it off. They're so cheap. There is no creature lurking around in the back that you get to see like they do. And I seen a shot early in the movie, famous Paranormal Activity shot, where I think it's Paranormal Activity 2, where they have the fan scene where kind of the thing is the camera's turning and you see an area, it turns back. Then you're waiting for something to happen, something to move. And as it goes, things start to move. You start to see like some Paranormal Activity stuff with it. They're pulling shots out without these kind of shots, not doing anything with it. And you know what they want to do? They're turning this camera and they're just turning the lights out in the back of the room. They're like, it's gonna be something back there that's creepy. No, we just gonna turn the lights out and make you think there's gonna be something back here that's creepy, and never do it until of course, when you get to the last 10 minutes. Oh, we only got 10 minutes now. How much we got left in the budget? $50K? Well, let's spend it all in these 5 minutes. And now we got to actually do something. But there is nothing going on with these shows. There's no payoff. They're really even the demon ain't even really want to show up most of this movie, man. And that's kind of my biggest thing. You want to set this atmosphere. You want to set something. You gotta have something going on. Now, this movie, they basically put whatever budget they had into this sound. And I know you liked the paranormal part in following the couple. And I know, I think the director too came out and he said he actually used some paranormal sounds as far as adding sounds to this movie. Fine. If you want to play with that, for me, it feels generic. Maybe audiences out there will like it. It's not bad. It just feels like when you walk into these movies, this is what you're gonna get, and like, so it's nothing like, wow, I felt outstanding about it, but it's nothing like I hate it either. Don't mind the sounding, but there's just no payoff for what they do, even going down to the end of the movie. There's no payoff, and when you get further, because you know this, it's a slow burn. It's gonna ratchet up when they start getting into these tapes, and obviously for Evie. A lot of stuff is going wrong. Like a lot of stuff is red flagging. She can't sleep anymore. Obviously, the subplot about her being pregnant is going on. She's having trouble with that. Like stuff is kind of spiraling, and you're just waiting for it to ratchet up. And of course, you get to the end of this movie, the last 10 minutes, let's go absolutely crazy. And Scotty. And forewarning, maybe some spoiler territory, but when you get to those last 10 minutes and you wait for things to go crazy, for me, that's the stupidest part of this movie. Like, yeah, she's been, and there's early on where she saw a picture that had popped up. Who drew it? No one knows. Does she investigate it? No. But this whole time, unconsciously, she's been drawing photos that of like Scotty.
I didn't mind that part because one of the tapes described what the wife was doing, her girlfriend was doing in there. That's what she was doing, and remember she didn't know what she was doing either, and didn't know that she was talking or sleep either. But they said she was sleepwalking, so she probably did it. But the way they did it so fast. Because I think it's like just a flash and you finally see it. And I'm like, well, did she draw those or did they just pop up randomly? I know she was drawing originally on that huge piece of paper. And I'm like, you just slapped those on the wall and forgot?
Yeah, it's like your house. If it was like one picture, like or one piece of paper, okay, cool. She's got like a whole thing that took like it took like 10 pages. To draw this.
That was a bad part of the movie because I'm like, before she even started listening to all the files, she was already drawing the picture. And I was sitting in the chair and I was like, what is this picture supposed to be to the movie? Why is she drawing this picture? I thought at first, I thought, oh, she's an artist. They're going to probably explain that maybe she dropped out of school to come help her mother, but she was just drawing the picture in like maybe 2 or 3 scenes. She's drawing the picture for a couple seconds, and I'm like, well, what's this for? And at the end, it's like, oh man, I've been slapping on my mom's walls all night. I'm like, what?
Well, she has, and that's the thing too. It didn't feel like that. Well, she has these pictures that she's drawn. Are they terrifying? No, it's a bunch of stick figures. Ain't no real art going on in this movie.
Yeah.
She draws a bunch of stick figures. But yeah, they get to the point where you look at the wall, it's like, man, bro, who drew all this stuff on the wall? Like, you gonna have to paint on somebody, like, this demon or whoever. Somebody better know how to paint and fix these walls. That's how I felt. Better paint and fix these walls.
My thing is this: why is she was drawing the picture so early? So they made it seem like it's almost inevitable that she's going to end up killing her baby or something like that. But I'm like, one of the tapes said that the demon doesn't even come out until you listen to number 10, because she's like in number 10. That's when everything gets unleashed. So I'm like, why, if she didn't listen to all 10, would she still be just sitting there drawing pictures?
Yeah,
because she was drawing the pictures even towards the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, okay, so overall, shit goes crazy, quote unquote, in the end. So before we really hop into a spoiler, because I definitely want to talk about some of this, you'll want to hear this. But overall, Scotty, what would you rate the movie for people who haven't seen it yet?
Minor league.
This is worse than Strikeout for me. I think this is ineligible. I can't rate this movie because there's not enough movie here to rate it.
This is worse. You think it's worse than him?
Yeah, I lied to you. This might be my least favorite movie in the last 2 years. Like I walked out saying
down a list of like 5 movies.
I mean, the worst. I don't think The Monkey is terrible.
4.
Okay, that's not a movie either. But more happens. More happens in Jeepers Creepers 4. It's more entertaining. I will say this. I think this is the worst movie. And I'm talking big budget in theater.
The Presence too?
Huh?
The Presence too?
Oh yeah, there's more that happens in The Presence than in this movie. Yeah, wow. The Presence is ridiculous, but there's stuff going on in that movie. Like I think this is worse than The Presence, which I hated that movie. It was terrible. But yeah, so this is probably the worst movie I've seen in 2 years. This definitely is ineligible, bro. It's like it's not a strikeout. They didn't swing and miss. They didn't try. So that's my rating for that. But let's jump into because it's in. So this is set the stage. You want to hear this? If you want to still see the movie, jump out or whatever, or don't care. Just please stay with us or come back and listen. But yeah, you're right. So, of course, you get to the TIFF tape is where things go crazy. But, man, we started, and it's some of the silliest stuff to go on in this movie, man. First of all, a demon that knows how to use technology, officially, is one of the most ridiculous. Like, this demon went and made an email, sent this tape to him. That, like, it pings back, so you can't even email this back to where and Scotty, we run a podcast. Somebody sends us a random email that you can't reply back. I don't care what they send. I ain't opening it. I ain't reading it because it's gonna be some paranormal stuff. Probably a virus. Probably gonna jack your computer up, and that's reason enough not to open it. To where these people running with this podcast equipment that is not cheap. Boy, you are not sitting there like, oh well, heck with it. Let's risk it and open it.
Yeah, and he opened everything.
Successful show.
It's weird.
Or you would have an intern open it. Like, hey, you check this out. It's probably might be a virus. Go to the library, open this up, see if it plays, and then they just wing it and open it. So first of all, you got.
I'm sorry.
And like I get it. That's maybe a little nitpick, but you got a demon with an email. You got these lists of tapes, and like you said, 10 tape come out, and the demon's in the 10th tape. What if you only listen to 9 and got scared? And then they do this call-in show live. Where like, okay, maybe you have a big audience. The timing to do this call-in show is ridiculous because she's doing this 3 a.m. her time. And he's doing this at 9 a.m. London time. So it's like this is not a time to do a live show. You would definitely want to do it somewhere in the afternoon where at least there you can have American audience or maybe I don't know where their audience is from. But they have this call-in show. Of course, they're getting calls out the wazoo. People just calling up. They just can't wait to talk on Undertone. Of course, you got you got this dude that calls in, and I forget what's the couple's name that does that. This on the tapes.
Jessa and Mike.
Jessa and Mike. Dude calls in, and this is like I think the second call. He calls in and is like, "Hey, like they're like, hey, if you got any info on on the story, like we couldn't find anything, like let us know." And dude's like, "Oh, hey, man, I knew Jessica and Mike. I knew them." And I'm like, what happened to them? Well, they ended up dead, man. He like, and first of all, he's like, "Oh, your area code looks familiar. Oh, I got a 302 area code." Evie's like, "Wait, that's right around the corner from me. Like, where do you stay at?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, like Jessica and Mike, they died, and the police found them at the bottom of the stair, and all this." And then it's like, "Oh well, like, hey, caller, what happened?" Doo-doo. Boy, ran out of minutes.
And I thought they were going to do something really, really stupid and say, and when she asked for the address or street number, it was going to be her street number. I said, "Don't you do that. Don't do that. Because if your mother bought this haunted house, it would make sense."
No, it wouldn't, because I feel like this couple didn't die that long ago.
Yeah, but see, we don't know though. We don't know.
Okay.
I don't even know what kind of equipment they were using, honestly. But the demon knew how to email, but you got to keep up with the times. I'm gonna give it that one. You got to keep up with the times.
Technically,
you can't, because she can only haunt people that are pregnant, and apparently not random people that are pregnant, people that do stuff that are on social media. So she got to be really careful. So I could see that.
Be pregnant with an email that are active.
It would have just made it so much better if I thought maybe Darren, her boyfriend, would have came over and stayed one night. Or maybe the guy from London actually when in between those days they couldn't do the podcast a couple days one scene. I would have liked him to show up. Just anything to show me that, hey, it's not just her that's in danger, or or this movie is bigger than these couple rooms. I think that really hindered the movie a lot. I think they would have show her doing more, show more people around her. Not a lot of new people, just anybody besides her. I think it would have made the movie better.
Anything would have helped. It's just it's so like, but it's like, yeah, they basically forced Justin, the voice actor, to the point where things start going to hell. He just has the voice to react to everything. Oh, like what part? Oh my God, my clock is now at 3 o'clock. How is this possible? Okay, so this demon just threw off the whole timeline for Earth, basically.
When you hear that tape,
you missed the flight. You know what I'm saying? All time and space, the demon just broke, just sitting out this podcast. But yeah, he's just doing reactions to things, like the things he can't even see. They just got him in a room just reacting to whatever. Oh my God, this broke. Oh my God, this light. Evie, you okay? What's going on? Silly. For her experience, like, and who won't take the headphones off to save her life.
That too. I said you can't because I was experiencing all the sounds, and I was like, I wanted to hear at some points. Remember when some of the tapes, the bang was on the tapes, like after the second tape?
Yeah.
I said, okay, she doesn't even know if anything's banging at her house, but she's getting up to investigate. I'm like, but your headphones are still on. Take one ear off so I could then see that you're in danger because it's happening at your house.
Yeah, because you're not gonna be able to hear. It's noise canceling. Like if you have headphones like that, like these, I could hear. Right. She's got the studio headphones that I've worn before, where anything you listen to, like it's in those headphones. You can't hear cars, you can't hear anything on the outside. So she doesn't even know. And usually you'll see people like Joe Rogan, for example. He'll have one on and one off, so you can still hear out because you don't know how loud you are with those on. That's the one thing. You can, if you can't really hear yourself, which those do allow you to hear yourself, but it's always easier to have one on so you know you're not too loud, especially if you're doing it in your house with your mom sleeping. Keeping one off. So she's the point where but she won't even take these headphones off. And man, it's just like it's the last 10 minutes. They pull out the stops. Demon can control. And that's the thing too. Not only Demon know how to podcast, he also has a beat producer because he knows how to make music. he's got these people on the tape making beats, all this stuff. So Gunna and all of them need to get in touch with this Demon because he's nice. He's nice on the ones and twos apparently. But you got that going on, the stuff going on in her house to the point where the demon call in himself or herself. Demon call in. Oh, you shouldn't have listened to that last tape. Oh boy, I got you.
That's where she at in the last tape.
Oh my God. Now, oh my God. Now you're screwed. You listen to this last tape, it's over for you.
That's the rules. That's the rules. It made sense to me.
bro. This
And then the girl waited until the demon said you've messed up and listened to the last tape to then say, I think we should stop listening. I said y'all could have taken that line out because they're past the time of
they
listening.
finish.
They finish everything.
Not
So,
only that, the demon can make it so files that were working stop working. He like, oh, he gets there and he was like, well, where's the rest of it? I can't play it. I don't know. We got the demon start corrupting files at 9. And she like, damn, I'm running out of time. We run out of budget. We got to get to tape 10. Like file not working. None of that. So yeah, man, this movie's silly. I don't say it. I know we're well in spoiler territory, but again, least favorite the last couple of years. Nothing happens. If you are in this, and this is rated pretty well. I think Rotten Tomatoes had like 77 critics. I think audience was actually worse than critics, which was surprising. But I think audience had like 60 something. I can look it up real quick. But man, this is the cheapest possible way to do a horror movie these days. And like you said, there's no characters to ground this. They don't have any outside interaction. Like you said, the boyfriend, that plot, who even knows where it goes?
nowhere.
That plot isn't answered.
I think they die once you get rid of your baby. I think you die with it.
I mean, I guess possibility. Who knows? Maybe she beat him. We'll
see in part 2 because this thing is going to make money.
You'll see in part 2.
I think it's going to make some money. I do.
Well, Scotty, it has to make money. It's only a $500K movie. Like it's already made. It's just me and you going to see it. They're already in plus mode.
Yeah.
It's all profit from this point. Man, it's just bro. Okay, so 78 critics, 53% audience. But boy, this movie it just there's nothing for me to recommend it. There's just nothing. You get the, like you said, Scotty liked it. He liked the sounds as far as following the podcast and the investigative portion, which that is there. But like, there's just nothing to ground it. No one shows up. So cheap, an actor who's in the scene, you don't even see them. Won't call a doctor for the mom who clearly needs some help. Won't get some help for herself. Won't take a break and get out this house when stuff is clearly going wrong. And a demon who, again, anything with electricity. It knows. It's one of those hacker things where anything with electricity, I can hack.
And, I wonder why critics like this so much and audience didn't. But the critics hated Scream 7 and audiences loved it.
Well, Scream 7's got a cult following. I mean, this is a movie. This is Undertone. We ain't really seen nothing like this. I guess we've seen something like this, but yeah, it's a cult following. I don't know. I think this movie's cheap. It's short. It's cheap, and it's a cash grab. It's like we know we're gonna make, like you said, when they go make their budget back. Of course they are. They already as soon as they put that movie in theaters, they were already at plus.
Well, there've been some movies that had low budgets that didn't make their budget. I'm just saying I don't think it's bad enough to where that people just don't go see it because I at least enjoyed it.
Well, it's Scotty, we know how horror movies work. People are gonna go watch it regardless. They're like Undertone, and I'm not. I thought the marketing was besides the Twitter marketing. I thought the marketing was fine. I'm like, okay, you got this podcast going on. You don't realize it's cheap until you sit down and watch it. Like it trailer didn't look cheap. I'm like, this looked crazy, and I'll give it a blessing. Like they didn't have a cult in this movie, so thank God for that because I was looking forward to it. But yeah, it was like. Movie's cheap. There's nothing going on, but you don't understand that until you get in there, and then you in there, it's too late. You already been paid, so it's gonna make money. I don't think it's gonna be Undertone too, but it's gonna make money. But there's just not for me to recommend this for.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the sounds. I enjoyed the atmosphere we got, even though it wasn't a whole bunch. And I really enjoyed the whole listening to tapes thing and how the sound in my theater. I went to see it in Dolby. And I like how the sound was like right in, it was all around me. So I really got to enjoy that. And I was always tense. I was like, ooh, what's going to happen? Now, granted, nothing happened, but I always felt like something was about to happen. At all times, something was about to happen. It just never did.
Even at the end of the movie, something was about to happen.
Now, I will say this. I like the ending. If that's the way the ending they're going to keep, I like the ending. I didn't really need to see anything I didn't see her doing anything to the baby and all that kind of stuff. Just like, a Sinister #1. We didn't need to see the dad die all the way. It wouldn't have made a difference whether we saw the dad die or the dad live. It really wouldn't have made that much of a difference. So I'm okay with that ending. But I think you have to have an ending if nothing happens throughout the movie. So for this particular movie, it probably needed an ending.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it definitely needed one. And you just get, if you get nothing in the movie, give me some of the end. If you're gonna say your money for that and have TVs turning on and crazy smile faces and just crazy drawings all over the wall, that demon better be pulling the paint out if you want to sell that house to get rid of. Then give me some of the end. And this movie just didn't give me anything all the way through. So, like I said, that's our review for Underwhelm, not Undertone, because that's what that movie was for me. But Scotty, people want to find us other places because we got plenty of movies coming up. Obviously, One Piece is out right now. We'll talk about that this weekend. I want to give you time to watch it before we jump into that. But Daredevil's about to come, Invincible's coming. We got plenty of horror movies down the line. If they're not here on YouTube, want to find us other places, where can they do that at?
You can find us on TikTok, Corona Comics, or mlfshorts. And on here, YouTube, you can find us on mlfshorts or Minor League Films on every other social media.
There you go. Everything is down in the bio. So yeah, like that video, comment down below if you've seen it, what you think about it, all that stuff. But yeah, so it wasn't for us. But hey, man, there's more movies down the line. Maybe we'll be overly whelmed by the next one. All that good stuff. We'll catch you next time.